Avalanche, Stanley Cup final winners from 2 years ago versus the Winnipeg Jets, who have just been really good all year. They're both super strong teams, but as we go through this one, Colorado made some interesting moves at the deadline to really fortify their lineup. Landeskog again probably isn't playing, but Jonathan Drouin has seemed to figure it out playing with Nathan McKinnon. He's looked really good there. Matt, how important are these deadline acquisitions the Avalanche made in these playoffs? Guys like Casey Middleton and Sean Walker, because Ryan Johansson was trash. It was said today that who was it? Danny Briere says he doesn't think he can play hockey anymore.
Yeah.
So that's certainly interesting. How important is that going to be in the series?
Well, it just gives more cushion and insurance for like the star power, like McKinnon and Rantanen, that they don't have to do it all on their own. Because as you saw last year against the Seattle Kraken, it was Rantanen, McKinnon, and friends. Well, it still went 7 games, but you could obviously see when those two weren't on the ice, nothing was really going to happen for Colorado. So like a little more name value, because like you said, Casey Middlestat. I do believe they picked up Zach Parise as well.
Right.
Is he going to be is he going to be effective? Not really, but it's just going to be a veteran presence in that bottom six. He's currently the fourth line right wing, and then like that back end, it's just ridiculous. Like Sean Walker, like you said, they got Devon Toews, Cale Makar, Sam Girard. Obviously, they traded Bowen Byram to Buffalo for Casey Middlestat. I mean, with that deep blue line, Bowen Byram, see you later, pal. But it all really comes down, Nick, the star power against Winnipeg's depth, but it's just going to be a goaltending battle. It's going to come down to if Georgiev can sort of he won't outduel Hellebuyck, I'll just say that, but can he just kind of stay the pace?
Yeah, and of course, you know what, Matt, I'm going to disagree with you there, because I don't think this is going to be a goaltending battle, because it can't be. Connor Hellebuyck is easy in a way.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be too much of a battle there per se, but I understand what you mean. But looking at Casey Middlestat, 57 points this year in 80 games. The guy is a playmaking machine. On Colorado this year, he had 6 assists in 18 games, 4 goals, so 10 points there. The ideal second line center for that Colorado Avalanche team. As you said about Georgiev, not the strongest season for him. Looking at his record, he did look decent, but if you dive into the counting stats here, it was nothing too wild. He had an 8.97 save, but he was 38, 18, and 5. In the playoffs, though, last year, because he was not the one that helped win the Cup for Colorado, that was Darcy Kemper. He had a 9.35, but he only played 2 games because I believe he got hurt. So it'll be interesting to see if he can bring his playoff play up and hopefully not get injured at this time. But Darius, we all know what this series is about for the Colorado Avalanche. It is about possibly the Hart Trophy winner this year, Nathan McKinnon, and what he will do to a strong Winnipeg Jets team. How does Nathan McKinnon? Okay, I'm not gonna be like ignorant and ask how does Nathan McKinnon impact this series, but I am gonna be ignorant and ask how that happens. How does Nathan McKinnon impact this series, Darius?
Well, we've seen it before. Nathan McKinnon can take over a series, right? So I think he has the ability to do that. The only thing that's stopping him is Connor Hellebuyck, who is probably one of the best goaltenders in the NHL, maybe the best goaltender in the NHL. So that would be the only thing stopping him. But he has the ability to take over a series, and now he's playing with his buddy Jonathan Drouin, who's finally starting to figure it out too. And I mean, the Avalanche as a whole have kind of retooled on the fly to complement that first line, right? So I think I'm telling you, he has the ability to take over a series, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do or try to do. And I just think that the Avalanche are a lot better than last year. So you're going to see a much different Avalanche team. The Jets are a very good team. They're going to have their hands full, and I think it's going to come down to goaltending. So it'll be fun to watch. It will be fun to watch because, if you get McKinnon with that speed one-on-one with Hellebuyck, it's 50-50.
It is. And Jonathan Drouin, by the way, did have a great season, 56 points in 79 games, 19 goals. He took a while for him to figure it out with Colorado. In the first few months, he wasn't great, but really turned around. That is actually a career high for Jonathan Drouin. Mm-hmm. So good for him. Good for him, of course. He's going to be very important. I think everyone was hoping that was going to work out. Going deeper into the lineup, like Ross Colton, they had him at second line center. He's just not that great. Third line center is going to be a good role for them. Good role for him. And they also brought in guys like Jakob Trenin and Brandon Duhaime, more like physical presences, because Colorado knows what it takes to win the Cup, and they did know that last year's roster was not it. So they are going to be unbelievably strong. Their power play is going to be lethal. Their penalty kill is also solid at the end of the day. But let's switch over to the Winnipeg Jets because they made one of the biggest trades in the offseason, actually. Trading away Pierre-Luc Dubois for Gabe Vilardi and Alex Iafallo. Now, this trade has worked out for them, Matt, pretty well. How does the roster swap, bringing in more depth, really help the Winnipeg Jets? And maybe just having Dubois off the team, man.
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems like Gabe Vilardi in like the full season that he's spent with the Jets has made more of an impact than Dubois, and I believe it was 3 seasons that Dubois spent in Winnipeg. Like, there's just that chemistry between Scheifele and Vilardi when Vilardi's on that top line that like it's hard to find somebody on Scheifele's right side that fits as well as Vilardi did this season.
No, it's gonna be great for them. And Darius, speaking of moves, the Winnipeg Jets at the trade deadline, they didn't just get Sean Monahan, they also got Tyler Toffoli. They added a lot of depth. People were unsure about what Sean Monahan was going to be able to do. He's fitting kind of nicely at that second line center role. And we know what Tyler Toffoli does. The guy unfortunately gets traded every trade deadline, it feels like. But he's gonna bring in both of them are gonna bring in some crazy stuff to the Jets. What are they gonna do to help them get past Colorado?
Well, first of all, offense, right? If the Jets can outscore the Avalanche, then I think they win the series, right? I think that's kind of the key to the series too. And Monahan, like you said, has fit in very well. And Toffoli is an elite scorer. Like, he's great. The fact that he's bounced around this many teams at this many deadlines in the last couple of years is crazy, right? And it's just because it's super unlucky, and it's just because he chooses a team and then they fall off, like New Jersey, for example. And not that he chose the team, but like when he gets there, I mean. So super unlucky, but he has a chance to go deep in the playoffs this year with the Jets, and he's going to provide more offense. Again, like, the Jets have really good playmakers, and now they have a really good scorer in Toffoli. And I really like what Vilardi's doing and all these guys that they got from Dubois, right? So they put it together very nicely here. They always had a pretty good core, I guess, of players that they could build around, and they still do. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's really going to be fun.
Of course. You look at Sean Monahan with the Winnipeg Jets this year. 34 games played, 13 goals, 24 points. He looked very good. And if we switch to Tyler Toffoli, everywhere Tyler Toffoli goes, he puts the puck in the damn net. And guess what, guys? It's pretty important to score goals in the NHL. This year, on the whole season, Tyler Toffoli had 33 goals. But in Winnipeg, he had 7 goals in 18 games. That's pretty decent, 11 points. There was a lot of depth all over Winnipeg. But, Matt, let's talk about the younger players on the Jets. Cole Perfetti, for example, is going to be huge because nobody really knows too much about him still. He's been in the league a couple years. But what is he bringing to the Winnipeg Jets this year that is different from past years?
Brings in, the Winnipeg Jets, they're not necessarily like in prior years, like a young team. Sure, they had guys like Line, but it almost seemed like coaching staffs, no matter who's coaching them, was very reluctant to put trust into those young players. And I think we were starting to see it more and more this year with, Perfetti, with Rick Bowness, and just like I said, that reluctancy to put trust in your young guys. But with Cole Perfetti, like we know what he's made of. Like, we know what he's done on the international level, with the junior level, and why not throw him into the playoffs? Like, it's where superstars are made. It's where heroes are born. So why not give your young guys an opportunity to do that?
Yes, sir.
Matt, that was an amazing marketing
look at
slogan
this guy.
There.
That's what I do. That's what I do.
But Darius, let's go move on to the defense for both squads here. We have a formidable defense. We discussed it with Colorado, guys like Makar, Taze, Walker, Gerard. But Winnipeg's defense, man, I think people are sleeping on them because you have Dylan DeMello, Nate Schmidt, a guy like Dylan Sandberg has been decent this year. Colin Norley added for depth, and I think one of the more underrated defensemen, despite his season last year, Josh Morrissey. I think Josh Morrissey's a really strong player. How does Winnipeg's defense go toe-to-toe with Colorado's?
I think Colorado's is still better, but you're right. A lot of people are still sleeping on the Jets' defense, and it's because of Josh Morrissey as well, because of the season he had last year and that he didn't replicate it, entirely this year. Still a great player. He's like one of the better defensemen in the league, right? So they're sleeping on – come on, guys. You're sleeping on Logan Stanley here. He's going to be a huge difference maker. Huge difference maker in the playoffs. But to be serious, like, I thought they have a lot of depth. I wouldn't say they have, like, not all of their defensemen are like top 4 defensemen, right? But they have a lot of depth in case there's injuries. If they have to slot guys in for certain circumstances, if the PK is not doing well, whatever it is, then I think they have a lot of options. And I think that's a good thing. But I do think if you're doing defense versus defense, Colorado, I love what they did with their defense and retooling on the fly. Like I said, like Sean Walker coming in. I really like what they did because they had one going out. They got Middlestat to fill in that second line center role. And then they add Sean Walker. I think that was tidy work. So I don't know. I think Colorado wins the defense battle. But the Jets' defense is not bad. I don't think they'll be exposed or anything like that.
No, I agree with you. Josh Morrissey, by the way, 69 points this year. Very nice. Very nice. 10 goals, 59 assists, playing very well. In the playoffs, before, if we go into his playoffs last year, 1 point in 3 games. So, I think he did get hurt, though. I know he got injured, so that was a big loss for them. But prior to that, he's had 5 points in 8 games, 22-21. But it'll be interesting for that. But we know what it comes down to for Winnipeg. It's the guys who have been there for a long time. Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor and Nikolai Ehlers are going to be 3 important players. Matt, how heavily, despite all the retooling Winnipeg has done, it all still comes down to them, right?
Yes. And again, it comes back to Rick Bowness's reluctancy to play Nikolai Ehlers. Like throughout the season, I've seen it like in the Winnipeg media here too. Like whenever someone else on the Jets makes a mistake, it's always Nikolai Ehlers who suffers the consequences, even though, half the time it wasn't his fault. But to put him on that top line, like Ehlers, Scheifele, Velarde, that would make a tremendous top line. But, Bonus always goes back to Connor, Scheifele, Velarde, even though time and time again, that does not work. It does not work. And then, like to add on to not just those 3, but the Jets themselves, like all season long, how hard it is to score on them like 5-on-5. Like they play a playoff style hockey throughout all 82 games. It's amazing that, they haven't had any major injuries, but they're going to be a tough out this year.
No, I think it sucks that one of these 2 teams will be out in the first round because they are superb teams. But speaking of
because the playoff format sucks, Nick. It sucks.
But speaking of Nikolai Ehlers, the big issue with him is not a playoff performer. It's very clear. Over his 32 playoff games, he has 12 points and only 4 goals. So that could be a reason maybe why. Maybe we're hoping for a breakout playoff form from Nikolai Ehlers. But on the season, despite only playing 15 minutes a night, he had 61 points in 82 games. And like you said, Matt, he is someone Jets fans have been dying to get way more ice time. They say he should get just as much ice time as someone like a Kyle Connor, who plays almost 20 minutes a night, who had the same amount of points, but in way less games. So it makes you think about who is better. And Mark Scheifele, what he's going to be. I think at the end of the day, you're looking at this series, you're looking at Connor Hellebuyck versus Nathan MacKinnon. I think that is the key matchup in this series, despite everything that is happening. But Darius, we got to talk about it. What is the outcome going to be of the Colorado Avalanche versus the Winnipeg Jets in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs?
This might surprise a lot of people, but I've thought about it, and a lot of people have asked for my predictions. I think the Jets are going to win this in 7 games. It's going to go the distance.
Matt,
I'll have to go the same. Jets in 7. It's gonna be another bloodbath in the West. Like compared to the East, like the West is a battlefield.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna be the best game series that starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Like the one before you go to bed. But you know what, guys? I was thinking about it too. I'm also gonna pick the Jets in 7. Let's go Winnipeg, baby! Woo! I don't care. Let's get it. Let's go Winnipeg. We're locked in. The Winnipeg Jets in 7 games. Colorado Avalanche, no slouch. But I think, it's time for Winnipeg to come out. I think Nikolai Ehlers, he's going to have an amazing series. I'm on your side, Jets fans. Let's go. Winnipeg Jets in 7 games. For everyone at the Gritcast, thank you guys so much for watching our playoff series so far. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the first round, man. It's awesome. Peace out.
For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.